Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/beat and browse an unmatched selection of audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/BEAT.
And I see the robin.
I'm just searching for equality, looking for some reason, no finding no apologies. But I do want opportunity, hard work, it ain't new to me. Shucks.
Everybody, it's your girl Rach Da Gem, back for another episode of Melanin Boulevard. This week I'm joined with Larry Smith of GFive Cultivation. Hi Larry.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for joining me today.
Nope, thank you for having us as always.
Thank you. So it's been like maybe over a year. I don't know when I first interviewed you. Maybe it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's been a minute. So I just would love to catch up. So how have you been in the last year or so?
Man, this last year has been it's been crazy for me, like really, really crazy. But we went through some storms, but we kind of made it through. I had some legal issues that really hurt me on the financial side that kind of set us back a little bit. But we went through those and we fought through it and we won. And so we're back grinding and, things have definitely been moving a lot faster and forward for us right now. So we're good right now. I'm happy.
I'm glad to hear that. I really am. So before we get to hearing about your year and all the things you've been accomplishing, I wanted to kind of talk about something that's been going on this week. Vegas is known for a lot of things, and Vegas went viral this week thanks to our mayor. Right. Everybody's talking about it, and I want your thoughts on what she said and how you feel about that.
I'm not one to bash anybody. I understand that there are kind of two different people that's watching what's going on. So for me, I have friends that are like, fuck this, we shouldn't be shut down. This is all, there's not enough people that have died. There are more people that have died in a day for this or this and this than this, right? And then now the narrative is that this disease is for black people, which I don't believe, just because the fact that I think that when people were dying in Italy and all these places, it wasn't until they realized black people were not staying in the houses when they started kind of coding it that way, right? Mm-hmm. And then I look at it and I go, damn, well, so I understood what she was trying to say. She was just trying to say, hey, listen, man, we've had 160 people pass away. It's unfortunate, but we have almost 3 million people here, 2.3 million people here. So I get what she was trying to say, and he was trying to spin it and say, hey, listen, but it's working because people are staying at home and it's curbing it. And me personally, I think that if you look at the underlying factor, do I think there's an issue with this disease? Absolutely. Do I think it's killing people? Absolutely. Do I think it's attacking people who have really bad problems? Absolutely, right? I look at some of the people that have passed away. I saw Fred the Godson passed away, may rest in peace. And he's been in the hospital quite a bit in the last 3 or 4 years. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't the first time, but that lets you know how serious it is that, he's been in the hospital 3 or 4 times. They normally can get under control, and this time they weren't able to. So that's the severity of it to me. And I got what she says. I think she was trying to just say, hey, listen, this is going to really impact us down the road, and we need to get back to normal. I don't think it's as bad. I think, and I don't want to put words in her mouth. It just seemed like she was just saying, listen, we need to get back to work, and I think it's bad, but it's not as bad as people getting the flu. And I think that's just some of the sides that people have taken. Do I understand? Am I scared? I've been out every day. I'm working every day. So I'm still out here. So I look at it like, well, shit, I don't have anything, but I don't know. And that's the kind of the fear that they put into us in a roundabout way. So there's a side of me that's like, are they fear mongering? Are they really making it fearful? What are they stealing from us? What are they doing? We just don't know because I definitely don't trust the government. I think the government they're full of it. I think that they create these programs. Then you have so much misinformation out there that it scares people. So I understood what she was saying. I don't agree with it, and I think if she would have said, "Hey, I'm going to go sit in the casinos and hang out with you guys to prove the point that I'm with you," then I think people would have been like, "Okay, fuck yeah, let's go." But the fact that she was really saying, "Look, I've been here for 30 years. I done been in every casino possible." That's what she was really trying to convey to people. Like, I don't need to go. Listen, I'm from Vegas. I don't go to the casinos every night. I don't know about you, but we live here, so it's not something we do. Right. So I think that they kind of took that and they ran with that just a little bit. And that's what the media does. So what I think black people should do is we should understand what they're trying to do to us. So I get it. So when Trump says it's fake news, that's when we have to stand up and say, you know what, let's use this fake news against them. You know what I mean? When they put our black faces on the TV every night, and for the robbery or the this and that, that's fake news. Because there's just as many Caucasian people that are doing those crimes, and they don't put their faces on there. So until they start putting it on, that black face is fake news to me.
Yeah.
We have to kind of use it to our advantage, and we don't do that. We don't play the game the full way, in my opinion. So I understood what she was saying. I get it. I think she was just trying to make the point that, I live here in Vegas. I don't go to casinos every night. But what she should have said was, let's get back to work, and I'll go sit in there with you guys to prove the point that we're okay. You know what I'm saying? So that was my take on it. I didn't read too much into it. I didn't want to bash her that way. That's just my take.
Yeah. So I mean, I definitely am able to see both sides. It's a lot of people that are on, that are the working class people who are going to be the ones who are going to be exposed to whatever's out there. They're at a higher risk, and they're the workers. So those are the ones that she's saying, let's get them back to work because they have families to take care of. I understand that. And at the same time, those are also the ones that could be at risk to, die from this, if that's what's happening, if they have existing health issues. I understand that the point that she was trying to make, saying that people need to take care of their families, but we also need to be safe. And it's kind of like, I don't trust the government either, but at the same time, I'm not about to be out there testing it. So I'm just going to try to roll with what I can control and, just not try to keep fear in my life, but just do what I can and try to protect myself the best way possible. Right. And so, Anderson Cooper not knowing how Vegas works, and I understand the point he was making. This is a huge tourist place, and when Vegas opens up, the hotels are not going to be full. It's going to take a minute for people to be comfortable and feel safe to even travel, and even have the money to, because a lot of people are hurting right now. And so, when it does open up, everybody's not going to get their job back because the volume's not going to be there. So I just thought the whole conversation, it was just like a back and forth. And I didn't think she did a great job of like explaining what she really was trying to do. I feel like he was trying to make it like, oh, why you want the casinos open? Like she gets paid from the casinos, or trying to make it some sort of angle like that. And all she's saying was, I want the families to get the money.
Back to work. Yeah. So for me, I look at it like, so I look at, listen, the Goodmans have been running the city for a long time. Her husband, and they talk boss talk. So to me, I understood the boss talk. The boss talk was, listen, sucker, I don't have to sit in no casino. I'm running my show over here. So like to me, the people that don't understand the boss talk, they're not going to get where she was really coming from. At some point, our people have to really, understand and look at the underlying factors of what was being said. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all. For me, to me, it's like that's what the media does, and that's why we have to be very careful. Or like for myself, I try to be very careful what I say, because what you say can and will be used against you, right? So it's like I try to be very thoughtful in what I say, because they will spin it, and they're there to get you to click it. They're there to get you to watch. 50 Cent told me a long time ago, 2 eyes are worth everything. If they can get your 2 eyes on that computer screen or your phone or whatever watching that means more revenue for them. So they're going to spin it however they want to spin it. And I know he meant well. He was just getting her to try to say, hey, what are you talking about? Let's open up. And we don't know. But, I have friends that are terrified of this, who say, I'm not going out there. I'm not going to be the test dummy. And I have friends who are like, man, listen here. This ain't what we had this in January. And to me, that's where I kind of lie. It's like, yo, like if they knew that this was going on in November, October, November, December, it's already spread it. Especially if they say it spread it the way it did. I remember getting sick in November and October. I was really sick. My family was sick. One of my employees, really sick. I remember and I'm talking about like a sick that like they couldn't shake the sickness, right? So it's like it was something like not a 3 or 4 day I got the flu. It was like 2 weeks. Like, yo, don't come in here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. For me, I look at it like, if it started that way, I think we probably were already exposed, and I think that's what those people's arguments are. That's all.
Yeah, I definitely had a friend that got real sick, and she's a natural and holistic and everything, and she got extremely sick. Like, I was scared for her for a second. This is before all of this COVID stuff came out. And so when I thought back, like, dang, that probably was it. And she found a way to shake it. I didn't like the fact that she kind of put us out there to be the control group. I don't want to be a test dummy. I'm good.
That wasn't very good of her.
Yeah.
That definitely wasn't a very good thing for her to do. So that part was like, I don't know. That was kind of bad on her part. So like you said, I can see both sides. I can see both sides when that people, we don't want to be, we don't want to be test dummies for nobody, especially Black people.
Right. We've been there, done that.
Right.
I'm good on that. So.
Right.
So yeah, it was just funny to kind of see that conversation go viral, and really, she hasn't really been the face of this. So for them to interview her was kind of odd, I thought.
Right.
Everybody has their reasons behind what they do, and I just hope that Vegas opens up when we're ready and not feeling like we're forced, because if you're not there to work, what are you going to do? What's your family going to do? So we got to take care of ourselves first. But enough of that. Let's get to know you, because you've never been on Melanin Boulevard. You're on the Kaleidoscope, but not Melanin Boulevard.
Right.
So let's get to know you. What do you do, and what are you known for?
So that's a good question. I feel like I've kind of spread myself out there a little bit. Right now, I say what people are looking at me for is mostly the cannabis. I'm in the cannabis space. I'm the owner of GFive Cultivation. It's one of 2 African American owned cultivations in the state of Nevada. And but before that, I was known for probably more sports betting than I was anything. I did more sports betting and more gambling. Let me take that back. I don't want to use the word gambling when I say sports betting. I want to say I was known for sports betting, which I consider investing. A lot of people can't understand that, but like sports betting is no different than the stock market to me. And I was able to make a lot of money sports betting, and enough to get me kicked out of several casinos. And so that was my thing. And I had made enough money that I wanted to be smart with what I did. So when I made a big score, I made a lot of money, I would always take that money and do other things. I started getting into real estate. So I started buying the homes in my neighborhoods. So I started doing that with the money. And then I had enough money built up and started another company of a factoring company, which is buying medical liens from personal injury cases. And then I went on to have enough money that I started beating them so bad that I had enough money to get me a cultivation. I got that started. So
you was winning in the casinos and they didn't like that, so they was like, you got to get up out of here with all that.
So what they did was I'm not 86 out of any casinos. They didn't do it that way. What they would do is, like, for example, if I would go in and if I said I wanted to bet, 10,000 on a game, what would happen is they would say, no, you can't bet that. You can only bet 200. So it's their way of saying, fuck you, get out of here. So they're not telling me to get out, but they know that I'm not going to go bet $200 on the game.
Right.
So it's kind of a way for them to do it politely, And if you don't go it that way, of course, when you do that, most people, when they do that to them, if they're good, they especially if they're brothers, they throw a tantrum. And then when you throw the tantrum, they kick you out. Now you're 86. I would always be nice. I'd be like, all right, no problem. Don't worry about it. So I would leave. And then I had a crew back in the day that would just go run. So I would send my crew to go make the bets. So I just say, you know what? Hey, Milton, go make the bet. Go bet 1,000. And I send someone else to go make 1,000 somewhere else and 2,000. They never knew. So it didn't really affect nothing. And then we paid the taxes on it when we won. So then that way we were good to go. But, which was always stupid to me because that's all I was going to do. But they figure that it's going to cost you more money to go out and hire people and do those type of things. But I didn't care. We were making money, so it didn't bother me at all.
So they can put a cap on a particular person on how much they can bet if they're consistently winning?
Absolutely. 1,000%.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they don't like winners. Trust me, they don't like them.
That's how.
And I was always nice. I'm the guy that was nice. I'm always nice, so I made it really hard for them to kick me out. Like, if I went to a baseball game, I would bring the entire staff back, hats or certain memorabilia, so that way everyone was cool. So they liked me. So, but at the end of the day, when the higher ups get a hold of it, they don't want you there. They're like, get them out of here.
Right.
Money,
Yeah.
That's
That's interesting. I never knew that. I never knew people did that.
Yeah.
Or casinos. I just thought they comped you some stuff. You're VIP. Not that way. That's not how it works.
If you remember in the movie Casino, like, they don't like winners. They when you're winning, man, in the movie Casino, remember he won and then they stalled his plane out so he couldn't leave with the money. So his plane was broke and there was nothing wrong with the plane. They just wanted to get him back so he can continue gambling. So for me, it's hard to do that for me. I live here. So when I win, I would take my money and go to the west side and be like, you know what? I'm going to buy a house. How much is that house? 50,000? Well, I just won 100,000 the day before, so let me get that house cash. That way they couldn't get it back, And that's the part that makes me the winner is that when I'm having these big scores, I wouldn't give it back. I'm not giving them the opportunity to get it back. Now, I buy 3 or 4. I bought 4 houses at the time. They can't get it back, right? So now I'm collecting income from those, and most people give it back, and I just wasn't the type that wanted to give it back. I mean, they're there to make money, so I just figured they're not going to make it off me, not today at least.
Right. I mean, I love that. So, a lot of people look at gambling like a hobby, or it can be an addiction, and you turned it into a business in a way, basically, to flip your money legally and invest back into the neighborhood that you're from.
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely a business. You have to treat it like a business. I mean, I had a full-fledged layout where we started on Monday and we would make our bets all the way to Sunday, and then at the end of Sunday. So if we started with 10,000, if we ended up with 12,000 on Sunday, we made $2,000 for the week. And we treated it like a business, wins and losses. We keep track of everything. We keep data, research, analysis, just like any other business.
So were you big into sports and that's how you kept winning? Or, I know that you said it was statistics. Or did you really study the statistics and kind of figure out
You know, it's interesting. When I was 16 years old, I started betting. I had me a little beard. I used to go into the casino, and I had, I used to tip the dude and let me bet. And when I would win, and a guy by the name of Big Mike told me, I went. What happened was I went in one day with my brother, and he was talking about games, and I said, yeah, I made a mention like, yo, the Bulls are gonna they're gonna beat the shit out of the what's his name today. And he was like, what? Yeah, whatever. And so I said, all right, well, cool. Here, listen. And I told him what I wanted to do, and I gave him 3 teams, and I won that day. And he was like, you won. He couldn't believe it. So the next day I went in, and I'm like, yo, and I didn't know anybody. I'm 16 years old. I'm a kid. I'm like, yo, he was like, I'm like, well, this is going to happen. They're going to beat the hell out, and they were just going. So he was like, damn, you're pretty good at this. And so I just got better. I would go in every day, and I watched the games, and I just had a good feel for it. And that's the thing. I just had a good feel. And then someone taught me how to bet baseball. And once I did baseball, I was making triple the money I was in any other sports in baseball.
Wow.
So I was like, yo, I found something here. So my senior year, I bought me a car. Like, I paid cash in my car. Like I was rolling. I was doing good. Like, it was, and then, of course I learned, hey, yo, it ain't that easy. I lost money and like, damn, what's going on? Then I started, I sat back one day and I had a job at the valet, and I was making more money betting than I was valeting cars. And so I was like, you know what? I just need to tighten this up and make it to where it's ran like a business. And I quit my valet job. They said I was crazy. And I was making really good money, as a 22, 23-year-old valet. And back
valet
then, it was a
people
really
get
good
paid.
job. I quit, and I think my first week I quit, I made like $20,000. And I was like, I never looked back after that. I was just like, yo, I'm gonna keep going. And then the rest was kind of history. Then one of the old timers was, he told me, he goes, listen, you got to invest, and you got to invest wisely, be smart. And so I started taking my winnings and just started investing in little things here and there. That was kind of how I got started. And that's what most people knew me for, if you knew me at all, because I was real quiet about it,
That's smart.
Yeah, that was very smart. I didn't let a lot of people know, we were making that much money. Most of my friends knew, my close friends, but a lot of people didn't know. And then, and if you did know, that meant that you were just in the sports book. But I would be smart. Like I wouldn't, if I won big money, if I win 50, 60,000, I wouldn't cash out when everybody was there. I would wait. I would go early in the morning. Nobody's in there, quietly.
Yeah.
I would get checks, so then that way nobody could rob me. I treat it as a business. It's a business to me, and I still treat it that way.
This is very smart. I wish more people would think like that. And even when they are getting these lump sums or winning these big tickets, instead of going out and buying nonsense, they are reinvesting and able to make that money last for them. So
right.
That's amazing. So with business now and everything that's going on, are you still, because I saw that like a year ago you started the sports bet page on Instagram.
Yep.
So did you still have that going on?
Well, what happened was I was so burnt out with the cannabis because, man, the cannabis took it to another level for me. And like I said, I ended up getting sued. And that was just disheartening because I've been in business for over 23 years and I've never been sued. And that really stung a little bit. And, but I felt I was right. And so I took it all the way to court. And then we went to trial and I won the trial and it cost me $350,000. But I figured that it was worth it. Now that person owes me the money. Well, the judge is determining right now how much she has to pay us. But it's one of those things that I felt like I was right, and I wanted to send a message to people that I think I told you this before. I like to make money. I value it, but I don't worship it. And so, a lot of people would have just paid out the money or did certain things. But I wanted to teach this person a lesson that we were right, and we knew we were right, and no matter how much it cost me, I knew that in the long run we were going to win, and I knew that they would be responsible. So I just wanted to teach other people that you're not just going to come for me. You're not going to. If I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to tell you I'm wrong, and I'll be the first one to make it right with you. But when I'm right, and you want to press the issue, then I'm gonna teach you a lesson at this point. And that's what we feel like we're about to do to this person.
So, how have you had to pivot in your business since everything has been shut down here in Vegas?
I'll be honest with you. Everything is still business as usual for us. The cannabis is going still. My other businesses are still going. I haven't laid anyone off. They work. Some of the people work from home. Some of them don't. In the grow they go in. We hired a little bit more security at the grow, but other than that, though, we haven't done anything any differently. Everything is still business as usual. Obviously, we at the grow we're very protective. We're always sterile. We're always clean.
Yep.
So that's always been a priority for us. So there was nothing new for us, to be honest. We probably wash our hands a little bit more often than normal, but nothing's new for us. Everything is still the same. Everything is still good to go. Everything is on point. It's just that we're probably a little bit more aware. We keep our distancing. Everything's the same for me. I've tried to keep it as normal as possible. Even when I'm not at the grower, I'm not at the office, I try to do a little bit more outdoors type of things. I try to be a little bit more active outside as far as walking or, whatever we're doing. I don't want to just sit in the house and waste. I don't watch the news a lot. Not on that portion of it. I get my bits of information and then I go, because I feel like the mind is 4 times the body, and if you keep watching that stuff, eventually you'll make yourself sick. You hear it so much that you really start to think you have all the symptoms, and if you cough or if you feel funny or and you're going to get sick if you're just sitting there. You need to be a little active. You need to walk in place at home. I know that may sound goofy, but the mind is strong, man. It's the strongest muscle that we truly have, and I think people need to really take this time and utilize it and be smart and think. And if they want to plan businesses or their next move, map it out. You got plenty of time now to think about it. Enjoy your family. Take this moment to love on your family. I look on my Facebook every day. There's somebody, saying they're upset or they're hurt and they're devastated because they're losing people, not just to this, but just losing people in general. So this is a time for me personally to basically, how do I say it? It's a time for me to enjoy it and smell the roses.
Right.
Love the people around me and enjoy them. We're not promised tomorrow. And I think we get so caught up in that we think that we're invincible that, I'm just, for me, that's how it's been for me. You know?
I agree. I try to cherish these little moments because when else is the world going to shut down and I don't have to run all over the city? I get to hang out with my kids as long as I want. I don't got to, rush off and go anywhere. Step in a room, record my podcast and step back out,
Right.
So it's just like a relaxing time. I'm trying to catch up on my sleep, catch up on things that I've been trying to do, plan these projects out. And so I hate to see people complaining. I think that everybody needs to learn how to use every situation to their advantage, find something good in it. If the good is just getting the extra sleep because you work, a lot, do that. So I think that's important. Now, for the people who don't know, because you own a grow, it's not a dispensary. Could you explain the difference for the people who don't know?
So a grow it's a cultivation. So we basically grow cannabis from seed to sale, and we go through the process, the maturation, and we grow everything, and then we sell it to the dispensaries, and then the people are able to go to the dispensaries and pick up our products. And that's pretty much it. It's a tough thing to do. It's not easy. Everyone thinks that it's like you're making all this money, and there's pockets where you do really well, but there's times where it's not like hustling in the street. It's a business, so we have to treat things a lot differently, and it's a business. It's very tough, and to me, we're growing medicine. It's not just recreational weed. It's not just like, a lot of people won't tell you what the issues are, but some people may smoke cannabis because they have lupus, they have cancer, they have certain things, they have anxiety. It's not just that, a lot of times we judge and, oh man, such and such smoke every day. Well, that person may need to smoke just to function, just to understand that their immune system might be differently. If they smoke every day, they're able to eat. You know, they may have a stomach disorder. There's a lot of reasons that people don't know, and so that's what really got me into it, is to say, hey, listen. I mean, of course we're going to make money. We make money already. We make money from sports. We make money from other things. But now if I can be able to get in this space and be able to change other people's livelihoods and take their quality of life from a 2 to a 9 or a 2 to a 7, anything higher than before, then that's going to be a great legacy for me to leave behind. So it's not just that. There's a lot of factors of what GFive and the components of what we are and what we represent. It's not all about the money. There's a lot of things that we love about GFive that we're able to provide, and the plan is able to provide our community.
I love it. Yeah, a lot of people in our community, it would be great if they could get a better understanding of what cannabis can do for your life, even just the oils. You know, if you don't want to smoke it, there's so many other ways that they can use it that, you know, can help with your depression, all types of neurological diseases and things. So it's so important that that information is out there. And I remember when we had spoke before, you know, you said something about, you know, these young kids want to get into cannabis maybe for the wrong reasons, but if they really understand what they're getting into and the benefits, and educating them, I really appreciated you saying that, because that's also important, because it may seem cool because it's weed, but it's a bigger picture in that.
Right.
So
we're starting now. We're starting to we're starting now. We're going to start. How do I call it? How do I say it? We're doing stuff in my community, in the neighborhood now, that we're doing like neighborhood. What do you call it? Gardening. So we're starting a gardening program.
mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of getting the kids, you know, ready for the gardening program, and in that way we're good to go. And these kids can understand, like, yo, this is the first step. If you can grow tomatoes and greens and all of these things, then that's what it is. Then it'll make it easier for us to get them to transition into cannabis, because cannabis growers make a lot of money. I mean, my team, the growers, I mean, they're paid pretty well, and I want to get these young kids to understand that, you know, this is what it is. You know, I want them to be a part of it and understand that they can feed themselves, that a lot of things come from Mother Earth. You know,
Right. So, will you be creating like a community garden, or is this just like a program, like an educational program?
Well, what I want to do is I kind of want to I'm hoping that other people will. I'm hoping that these other guys will step up their game in other neighborhoods and kind of follow suit of what we're doing, and then that way, you know, these guys will be inspired and be like, yo, I want to do that. So we're starting with my neighborhood first. I have about 15 homes that are signed up on the program, and I'm hoping that we take the youngsters from my neighborhood, teaching them how to grow. Then they're going to be working with some of the elderly people in my neighborhood. And that way, we bring our community together, and we're able to feed the community. And I'm just hoping I can inspire other neighborhoods to join in and be like, yo, this is dope. I think this is something that we should be doing collectively together. And then I'm hoping that we can be able to go help Valley View and some of these other places get everything together.
I like it. So what's the process when it comes to being a grower? Is there like a certification program that they have to go into?
Well, now what we've started to do is I preferably like to get people that don't know nothing about growing, to be honest with you. You have a lot of these guys that come in, and if they have any inkling about how to grow, what happens is they want to tell you what to do.
Right.
So there's 8 different ways. Everyone has different ways of how they do things. we've adapted a certain way that we prefer to grow in for GFive. And so I like to hire people or train people that have no knowledge at all, no experience. And then we train them as we go and we get the information, because quiet as it's kept, we're still learning a lot about the plant as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but it would be nice to have these young kids that are coming up, if they know the basics, the core, the math, the science, the plumbing, the AC, all of those type of things. It would be nice to teach them those things, the biology. So it's not as easy as people think, but that's the good part for us, is that we get to teach them. And as long as they're willing to learn, we're willing to help. And we're starting to find that I've helped 2 people so far that have come on with GFive that didn't know a thing. And actually 3 people we have didn't know a thing. And they've taken to it. They love it. The people that we had that we thought they knew, it was a nightmare for me, because they want to do it their way. They think, their way is the way. And we, like I said, we have a certain protocol now that we have with GFive. And if you don't want to follow that protocol, then you can't be a part of it. And it's not to say that those people can't grow. It's just that we don't cut corners at GFive. I definitely don't. I represent the urban Black youth of America. And we're known, the stereotype is that we cut corners. We don't work as hard. And, I want to make sure that we break that stereotype and let them know that, when we put our cannabis out there, it's clean, it's good medicine, it's on point. We didn't cut any corners. And our growers grow it with love and the compassion that we really need to grow this with this plant.
Nice. So one more question about the cannabis.
Yeah.
So when they say hybrid, are you creating your own strains?
We have some strains. We have some stuff that we have that we've come up with, that we've created. And that's the next step for me, is really getting my research and development down, so I can create some young scientists out there. I believe there's a lot that's in this plant that holds the key to a lot of things. A lot of cures. I can't prove it yet, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff, and it's important that we do the research and get it out there and get going and be able to figure out, how maybe this is the cure. Maybe that plant holds something that has the cure for lupus or diabetes. I don't know, but I'm definitely gonna die trying. Before this is all over.
So what can we look forward from you for the rest of this 2020, which is going great for you?
You know what? When I would never say it's going great for me, because I'm one with my community. So if my community is suffering, then I'm suffering as well. It's just that I try to keep my head a fray above the suffering, and I want to keep my mentality sharp in the sense that if you sit at home and you pout and you complain, then that's what you're going to become, right? And so, like I said before, the mind is 4 times the body. So you can get creative in this space, and for me, it's just a time to really reflect, and like by having this downtime, I'm able to go down and really map out the time to create my garden. And so I feel like, so if this happens again, my neighborhood isn't rushing to the store to go get certain things. My stores, they're going to be able to go get their eggs, their fresh eggs, right out the neighborhood chicken coop. They're going to be able to get their greens, their onions, their tomatoes. You're talking about, that's an omelet. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make it to where that our people aren't so drastic in what they're doing. So I'm just trying to prepare for the future and make sure that our people are good.
I love it. I have 3 girls who I would love to get involved in growing their own food. I've been terrible. I suck at growing plants. So it's always something that I was always like, I really need to do better with that. So when you get that going, me and my kids are right there.
So listen, so I want to just break something down what you just said. So like what I try to tell people is like they have the one book. It's called The Secret, I think it is. I don't know if you ever seen The
Yep.
Secret. Or
Yep.
so like what you put out there is what you get. So when I hear you say I suck at gardening, like to me you've already put it out there that you suck and you're no good.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say, I think if like what I mean by change the mentality is if you change that and say, you know what, I'm not as good, but I'm going to get better. I'm working at getting better. Then what happens is that your mind starts to say, hey, you know what? We need to work to get better. And
Mm-hmm.
then we change that narrative from like, I suck. And when you suck, usually people tend to not want to do things that they're not good at, right? But if you change the way you say it, and what'll happen is this, you'll come out there with us. And I'm not that good either, but I'm finding the people that are good. And now when you get to learning and you understand, you identify the problems, then it changes. And I don't mean to use you as an example, but I was
No.
just trying to use you as an example to say that like you are what you think, you are what you say. And so like when you put it out there, it's just winning is just about the mindset to me, right?
Yeah.
When you say you can't do something, guess what? I know 100 people that I can't do that, and I've never seen them even try to do it. When you
Mm-hmm.
say, you know what, I may not be that good, but I'm gonna give it a shot, and then it turns out you may be really good. And I'm speaking for myself too. Like I've done it to where I'm like, I'm not trimming, I'm not a good trimmer, and I'm like, they're like, Larry don't trim. Wow, he said he ain't good, and it's not that I'm not. I told myself I'm not doing that, and then of course I start talking to myself, and then someone's like, yo, maybe you should go try again and
Mm-hmm.
really try this time. So I started trying, and of course I got better, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's what I put out there, and that's why I use that as an example. So we would love to have you come out, and we're gonna make you a great gardener, right? We're gonna make it to where you really can teach it and pass that down to your 3 young ladies, and then that way you're good,
Yep.
right? So mindset, that's what I want to tell you,
You're
because
so
I got a
right.
big respect for you.
You
I
so
got big respect for you.
thank you. I mean I know what I would try to I was gonna buy a plant during this quarantine because I'm like, this would be the perfect time, right? For me to for me to get a plant and like take care of it. I think I water it too much. You know how kids feed the fish too much? I think that's
Right,
like my problem. I'm like, I feel like my plant is thirsty. And
right.
I over love it, so I gotta scale it back. But that was my plan. That was one of my plans is like to get a plant and see if I can take better care of it. But you're definitely right. I so agree with mindset. I preach that all the time. So I definitely, sometimes you got to check the things that you say,
Right.
and it's so important. And you just keep trying and be very careful with your words. So
And the difference is too is that like a plant, sometimes once again our people are very visual people. So like the way I look at it is that is like if you go and you're producing food, it's not just like you have a reward at the end by you
hmm
having a plant. Like for me, the cannabis, like there's a reward at the end. I've been posting on the Facebook day 30, day 35. I wanted them to see from the very start what it looks like to the
hmm
very end. So
hmm
like I think I'm on day 35 or day 36. I posted 2 days ago, but I want them to see what the end result is. And I think like when we start planting food, I think people will understand. I think they'll understand that like there's an end goal. So when we have plants, I know people that talk to their plants, sing to their plants,
hmm
but if I think you would think of yourself as a better gardener once you plant those seeds and water them the correct way, and then you look up and in 2 months from now you got a big onion sitting there. You're like, oh shit, I did that. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, let me try something. You know what I'm saying? Or in 6 months we got watermelon sitting out there, and it's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that'll change the mindset, and then it'll make you want to get better, to see a smile on your face, and there's a
Yeah.
reward at the end of it.
Definitely, I agree. Well, I'll be there. I can't wait. So I'm actually really excited about that.
Cool.
And I love the fact that you're showing also the in between because some people see the beginning and some people see the prize. So the fact that you're showing the in between is so important for people to see that too
Yeah.
in plants, but also in business too.
Right.
I think that that is very important with the world that we live in and with social media because nobody's talking about, the hard times. Nobody's showing that like that.
Right.
They're just showing that they made it. So I definitely appreciate that. And so before we go, what advice would you give to business owners out there right now?
So the number one advice I would give to business owners is for right now, and this is a lesson I think a lot of people can adapt with just in life and that is be prepared, think ahead. That's been the motto of GFive for the last like 7 months. Before this even happened, we were thinking ahead. We've been thinking ahead. Be smart with everything that you're doing. Don't save for the rainy day. And this has definitely become the rainy day. So
Yeah.
I was able to stay open because I've thought ahead. I've thought of, I don't know how long I would be able to stay open. I know we got a couple of months that I'm willing to make sure that we're good. But for the most part, it's one of those things that I would tell business owners to be prepared, and there's going to be a new change coming. Things are going to be a lot different in the future. This is a new wave. When they say the new world order, I think of it as like things are going to change. We're adapting. I know these are crazy analogies, but back in the day when they had the stone on the Flintstones, they had the wheels, and then finally someone figured to shave the ends off of them. Now they could roll faster, and then someone decided to put some tires and air in them. They go even faster, and I think this is just that point to where things are going to change, and we're going to evolve, and as humans, we have to really evolve, and people need to get creative and understand that some of these jobs might be gone. Right. Or there's going to be opportunities to start bringing jobs back from China and bringing them back to America. And this is the time for us to get smart and say, hey, we do a lot of fabric, masks. I mean, look at masks. A lot of our masks come from China. Well, guess what? Now those masks can't come from China because, people are making masks here in Las Vegas and they're doing well at it. It's like, this is good. This is a good thing. So you just have to find a niche. If there's something that you're sitting around, this is the time to figure it out, what you think can be new and improved and better for our society.
Definitely. Shout out to my mom. My mom's out here making these masks too. She sews, and so there's a demand, and she filled in demand. So
yeah,
definitely.
There's the guy we just got our mask from. He says they're trying to hire 50 or 60 seamstresses. I mean,
okay.
Who would have thought that the seamstress would be back in business and going, and home economics would mean anything anymore. So I mean, home economics is really coming into play. Like, people are home. Some people don't know how to cook. I mean, This is a good time to learn. This is a good time to pull up on YouTube and learn how to cook some of those dishes that you might want to learn. I mean, a lot can come out of this if we let it. If you think positive and take the proper steps to go. If you let it demise you, then that's what it's going to do. It's going to demise. It's going to kill you off if you don't adapt to the changes. So business owners, please try to adapt. Understand, how can you make your business better? A lot of things are going online, so adapt to that. Make sure that your customers can reach you online. Don't think that your website doesn't matter. It matters. People need to get a hold of you now.
Yep. Definitely. So where can everybody find you?
So you can find me on, you can find GFive Cultivation at GFive, GFive Cultivation on Instagram. I'm the boss, it's the boss, LRSM on Instagram. And you can just find me on Larry Smith on Facebook. And we appreciate all the followers that follow GFive Cultivation. We're very proud of that. We try to put out good content. We try to put out content that's real, nothing fake about it. So we appreciate everyone who follows us. Please follow us. We need as many eyes watching us. And if you don't smoke, follow us. Buy your boyfriend a pre-roll, your girlfriend a pre-roll for their birthday. You don't have to smoke to support us. I know not you, but I'm pretty sure someone who partakes in cannabis. And we appreciate all the support and love. Without the people that support us, I mean, we really are nothing. And we really do appreciate it. I just want people to know that we do care. We watch it, we look at it, we see it, negative, bad. We want feedback, inboxes. If you didn't like a certain strain, let us know, because we want to know those type of things so we can not bring it back. If it's we have an overwhelming response of people not liking your flavor, we don't bring it back. The people have spoken, so we listen to what the people have to say. We're not one of those bougie companies that act like we know. We want to be a part of the community.
Nice. You did you guys have like this game that you played on, I think it was on IGTV.
Yep.
I loved it. I was rolling the whole time. It was a really good game.
Right.
Who
We'll
thought
have to get you to come on and play the game then.
I'm down. Just let me know when.
We have some stuff with Big Baby coming back, but we'll have it with Cameron too.
Okay.
So we'll have Cameron, and we'll have you come on and spin the wheel with Cam as well.
Okay, sounds good. Just let me know when. I love the game. I loved it, and I love the content that you put out. And any way I can support, I'm right there. But I do want to just thank you for taking time out and coming on the show. And make sure you guys support if you're in Vegas, and you hit the dispensaries. Make sure you try it out.
Make sure you please do it. Just ask for GFive. That way, that makes them want to do it, because we are at the mercy of dispensaries. So if you can, please. I'm not saying go in there and tear the dispensary up for GFive. I'm just saying ask them for it, and that way they'll be like, wow, everyone's asking for the GFive. So that really helps us a lot, and it means a lot for us.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm saying we employ a lot of people, so we want to make sure we keep those people employed. And by you buying it and purchasing or telling a friend about us, that keeps people, having jobs.
Yep. Are you only in the dispensaries in Las Vegas, or are you out of the state?
Well, so that's a good thing. So we just set up. We're getting set up to be in Chicago now. I have some deals working that we're going to be growing in Chicago. So GFive is starting to expand. It's another company that I formed called East West. So that's technically nothing to do with GFive, but in order to be able to move and go to those other places, we had to form another company. So you will see GFive LA, which is hopefully coming. We were hoping it was going to be this summer, but it's going to be pushed back. We're going to be building a building out in LA soon, once everything gets back to normal, hopefully, or gets back to action. I don't want to say normal.
Yeah.
But we're moving. We're getting there. We're in Vegas and Reno right now, and once we get everything going, they make it federally illegal. Hopefully, we'll be able to get everything right.
Nice. That's exciting. Well, I'm super excited for you. Super proud of you. Thank you for taking out your time. Make sure you follow everybody. Make sure you tune in to Melanin Boulevard every Thursday. Don't forget to tell your friends, to tell their friends, and maybe we could be friends, to tune in every Thursday.
Thank you so much for having us, and we love you. We'll support you any way we can.
Thank you.